Hey, I'm Amy of Handmaiden. This is my monthly podcast where I share with you anything that's new for Handmaiden on the website and also what I have personally been creating in the past month. I'm coming to you from New Zealand in a small town down the bottom of the South Island of New Zealand. So for those of you that haven't been following along for a while or aren't aware that I have been away overseas for the last 2.5 weeks, did a trip around Alaska on a cruise boat and went overseas with a good friend. So I think I'm going to break up the structure of how I normally do the podcast and maybe just start from the beginning of our trip and share with you the things along the way, because believe it or not, we found a yarn store at each port that the cruise boat stopped at. So first up, we did 5 flights in Chicago to Vegas, took 5 flights, and I finished knitting my penny gloves. Well, basically finished knitting them on those 5 flights that it took us to get to Vegas. One of I knit these on little tiny shorties and did magic loop, and one of the tiny tips that I was using broke, so I didn't actually finish one of the thumbs. So I have since finished that and blocked them since I got home. I also didn't take a darning needle with me on the travels, so there were ends to sew in when I got home as well, but that was okay. Yeah, very happy with them. That only took the going there trip to get them whipped up. This is a nice possum nylon yarn, like actually a possum sock yarn, so I thought it would be hard wearing, so good for mittens, and it's super fluffy. I don't know if the halo shows on there, but yes, it has fluffed up delicious with blocking. And I had this as my travel project for on the plane with the tiny short needles, because I thought that would be safe and the security might not take those off me, the little tiny needles. Yeah, good to knit on. Yes, so in Vegas, no knitting happened. There was much other things to do. But then we went from Vegas to Seattle, and Seattle had this amazing public market that had everything from food and handcrafted things. We found 2 yarn stores in Seattle. On my personal Instagram, I did a little video around one of them. It had an amazing rainbow wall of yarn. And then there was a little shop that was called Yarn Dragon. They apparently have a bigger store in Seattle as well, but they had a little shop at this market. Beautiful colour. I love this green colour, like my sweater today. Yarn Dragon, this was this beautiful baby alpaca in silk. You can see how drapey it is just by how the skein won't hold itself up. Beautiful skein, and again it has a little halo. Yeah, the Yarn Dragon, go look them up. There was also heaps of machine knit items in store, like they had socks and scarves and gloves that had been knitted, and I think it was Jonathan at the main store in Seattle has the sock knitting machines. As much as I would have liked to, we didn't go and visit. Yeah, so also at that shop I got a doodle deck. These are colourwork cards, Pacific Knit Co. Because we were doing the Alaska trip, I was like, I have to have an Alaska card set. Yeah, for those of you that don't know about Pacific Knit Co., I'll link it all in the show notes below. There's basically plain patterns, like for a cowl or a sweater or socks or headbands, and then you plug and play your colourwork patterns that you want. Like maybe you want to do mountains, or yeah, you can put your own colourwork design on these like blank garments, these blank patterns. This pack has 13 chart cards in there, and it comes with the infinity cowl pattern. Yeah, I'm excited to plan my own colourwork sweater based on my Alaskan adventure. And then also picked up at the other yarn store in Seattle this cute strand of sequin yarn that, I don't know if you can see it super close, but the sequins are actually tiny flowers. I plan on holding these two together for an accessory pattern that I'd like to make. Yeah, super fun. So that was Seattle. We met the cruise boat in Seattle, and yeah, the first port that we went to was Juneau, and I found in Juneau Changing Tides. This was Jan. There's going to be a bit of rustling. I'm apologising in advance. Here we go. Jan of Changing Tides. I'll link everything I can in the show note before. And Jan had done up these gorgeous little gift packs because at the same time as we were cruising, the grocery girls were cruising on the Holland America ship as well. So there were lots of yarny people about at port. So Jan make up these cute packs. This is fabric with knitting and crochet kind of designs on. I look forward to turning those into something special. And then at the store I chose this little set of mini skein set, sock yarn like superwash merino and nylon, and yeah, hand dyed in Alaska, Juneau. So I tried to pick up something at each port that was special to the town that we were in. And then Jan also gave me the Memories of Juneau shawl pattern. I've got lots of lovely accessories to make now, and I'm having fun making accessories at the moment. And I think this will really show off the mini skeins, like the colours in there, little stripe. Yeah, Memories of Juneau. Next port, there were also like sea days on the cruise boat, and plenty of knitting happened then as well. I took 4 projects with me, and yeah, I finished all of them. I was casting off one of them as we were landing in Invercargill on the way home. So next port was Skagway, and I'm just trying to find, I've got like piles of chaos everywhere. Is that Skagway? Yes, here we go. I picked up this skein. Oh, it's like pink and green like my outfit today. This beautiful skein I picked up in Skagway, and the colourway of this skein is fireweed, which I saw in lots of artwork and when we were in Alaska, and yeah, so it was for me quite a nice memory of the fireweed that grows there. And then also at the same yarn store, it's annoying me now that I can't think of the name of the yarn store. Here we go. This is why I keep all the cards everywhere you go. Yes. Also at that yarn store, I got some Farmer's Daughter fibres, a nice DK skein. I loved the colours in this skein, and again imagined an accessory knit up in this DK. Maybe even an orbit shawl. I've got a couple of orbit shawls, and I love how quickly they knit up, and it's such a nice pattern to have on the go because you don't really have to think about it. So yeah, watch this space. That was Skagway. Next shop was Ketchikan, and there were 2 yarn stores in Ketchikan. One of them, believe it or not, I did not buy anything. This is Nancy, Fabulous Fibre Arts. Had a super fun yarn store with lots of samples and stuff. It was absolutely packed with yarny people. And then the second store we visited in Ketchikan was Untangled Yarn and Fibre, and Deborah was a superstar. She had made up beautiful packs for everyone, all the yarny people visiting. Yeah, with patterns and a little mini skein, and yeah, she looked after everyone. And it was such a beautiful yarn store. I could have just hung out there. It was so cozy and just a nice space that you wanted to spend time, and I could have sat there all day and hung out. So here's my wee mini skein from Deborah. It's got sparkle in. It's going to be fun for like toes and heels on a sock. And Deborah also gave everyone one of her patterns. She designs multiple patterns. You need to go to check out Deborah Smith on Ravelry. I'll link again in the show notes. So yes, crochet hat or knitted hat, same inside passage, Deborah Smith. And then I got one of her beautiful skeins of yarn. Love pink and orange together. And these were all cool. This collection she's done was Brush Strokes, Colours of Alaska. Beautiful. And I bought one of Deborah's patterns called Rain from the Ketchikan collection. And you can't see in this picture here, but it's actually got beads in there. Like it's all beaded when you've knitted the pattern. And that is something I haven't done before and I've always wanted to do. So, watch your space. It's pretty special. You can't see the beads in there, but it's beaded rain shawlette. So beautiful. Not sure what yarn I'm going to make. It's a pattern that I'd like to make. Thank you, Deborah. She was amazing. From Ketchikan, we went to Canada, so into Victoria, British Columbia, which is in Canada. And right at the port there, they had set up, like the community had set up a little market for all the cruise boats that were coming in. And much to our delight, at the market, there was yarn. So there was heaps of beautiful handmade earrings and hand-printed t-shirts, heaps of awesome local handmade stuff. But yes, the beautiful lady who is, I'm looking for the skein of yarn, here we go. Can't remember her name, but the yarn is called Wild Woolies. Super cute logo. Check out this beautiful skein of yarn. There was so many of her colorways, I found it very hard to decide which one. In the end, I grabbed this one because it's called Water Lilies and it made me think of my lily. Yeah, very beautiful. Just on a sock base. Again, if it doesn't have, like, because I don't have a project in mind, it would make a stunning pair of socks, and I'm always making socks. Yeah, Wild Woolies. Go give her a follow on Instagram. I'll link that below too. So that was Canada. We were only there for like the evening before off we went again. And our cruise finished in Seattle, where we had got on the cruise. And we had a good day there before we needed to head back to the airport. So we hopped on the wee ferry in Seattle and went across to Bainbridge Island and visited Lamb and Kid. Went to their yarn store. I got this skein, another beautiful green. This skein is on the yak cashmere base and it's a DK. It's their base that they call Todd, and there's a hat pattern with a beautiful cable in it that I've been wanting to make, and this is the base that pattern was written for, so this is going to be a hat. And then while I was there, I got a skein of Spin Cycle, just because everyone needs some Spin Cycle in their stash. Yeah, I love these colours. Bombolini. And that's Spin Cycles dyed in the wool, like their sport weight. Also, I picked up at Lamb & Kid these gorgeous buttons. There's more in there. There's 6 in there. I have a cardigan pattern on my make list, and when I saw these buttons, I thought they would be fabulous. And also grabbed a new holder for the back of my phone. Like, I'm recording this on my phone at the moment, and I have to take it out the case to get it in the stand to when I'm recording. But yes, this super cute little lamb, when I saw that, it was a bust as well. So cool. That was Lamb and Kid. I feel like that was all the yarny purchases on our adventure. I was very restrained. There was not much room in the suitcase. Yeah, but it was nice to pick up a special little hand-dyed skein at each port that had been made locally. I don't know if you can see in the background my fabulous bag that went on the journey with me. This is Biddy. She hand makes. But he whipped up this bag for me in time for me to take on my holiday, and it was my perfect carry-on bag, like had my everything in it I needed, passport, all your essentials, but also my knitting projects that were on the go were in here. So Biddy makes these out of the beautiful Harris tweed cloth fabric, fabric. So yes, Harris tweed, she gets in the gorgeous fabric. This is Biddy, she hand makes. She does do markets and things, but also reach out if you want a custom bag. She shared with me all the coloured fabric she had available, and we went from there. It is lined and has awesome hardware like these magnetic buttons. Yeah, so pockets inside, but a nice like solid score base so it can stand up. Like, very good. I enjoyed it very much. And another wee pocket on the outside, which was perfect. I put my phone in there when I'm pretty much traveling, and it's magnetic. So good. Yeah, all the hardware on it is so well made. Very beautiful. Thank you, Biddy. Go check Biddy out and her other beautiful bags that she's made. Loved it. It matches my outfit today too. Pink and green is today's theme, everyone. Yeah, so today I am wearing a finished object. I worked on this while I was traveling, the Star Stitch shawl. Well, it's called Starfall, and it's designed, the pattern is designed to use colour pooling yarn. So yarn that has been dyed to make the assigned pooling happen. And every time you come to the colour pop, you did the Star Stitch. Until I did the lace border, then you didn't worry about doing the Star Stitch. You just, the colour came in however it happened. And then I blocked it out to make the wee points. I'm very happy with how it's finished, and it's on the extra fine, beautiful superwash merino sock base, like my favourite sock base that I dye up. So soft and next to skin, nice. And it's a cowl, which I love, so it doesn't fall off, it stays on. Yeah, very happy with how it turned out. And then also wearing, this is the J Road sweater I made a wee while ago now. Kiniki Knits. Again, I'll link all the details below. She is a New Zealand pattern designer, which brings me to the Kiwi make-along that's happening at the moment. Myself and quite a few other New Zealand podcasters are hosting the Kiwi make-along. So you knit or crochet or create with woolly fibre, either New Zealand fibre or a New Zealand designer. So it's running right through to the end of August. Go and check out Kiniki Knits if you're after a New Zealand designer pattern. I can highly recommend hers. Yeah, all the details for that make along are on my personal Instagram. No, on Handmaiden's Instagram. So again, I'll link all that below if you want more details. It's been running from the beginning of June through to the end of August, so there's still plenty of time. Other finished objects. I finished this Sophie scarf before I went away. Yeah, I think I shared with you, it was like the blend, the ball of wool was called Alaska or something. So I finished that for Lily. Lily claimed it before I went away. And then while I was away, I took a ball of this delicious cashmere, so soft and light and beautiful, and knitted myself a Sophie scarf with it. Didn't quite follow the directions of the pattern because I've made quite a few Sophie scarves now. I just kept knitting until I'd used half the ball because I really wanted to use up that special skein of cashmere. Beautiful. And then the other project I'd taken away with me was my shift cowl. This is in 3 skeins of Spin Cycle, Andrea Mowry, The Shift. I think it's cool. And it's mosaic knitting. Yes, absolutely love this pattern. This is my second shift, and I find it very enjoyable to knit. Again, it's a cowl, so you seam up at the back. Yeah, delicious and squishy to wear, and then doesn't fall off like when you wrap a shawl. Yeah, happy with that. Lots of accessories were made. And I surprised myself that I actually did finish the four projects that I took. But yeah, so I'm thinking now what? Currently on my needles, I've had this in my wanting to make list for a while. The Harvest Flower Sweater by Jessie Maed Designs. I keep coming back to this pattern. Like I see someone's sweater and I'm like, oh, I love that sweater, and it turns out it's the Harvest Flower Sweater, and then I might see something on Instagram or something like, oh, that's such an awesome sweater, and it turns out it's the same pattern. So I finally cast it on. I was hanging out till I come back from my trip. I didn't want to cast it on before, and I also didn't want to take a large project like a sweater. So now that I'm home and had finished all my wee accessories, I've cast on this sweater. Early days. Can't believe I don't have needle stoppers on, but risque. This is the beginning of my flowers coming in. Yeah, nice and bright poppy contrast. I am using Deborah Natura yarn, Gilliard. Beautiful big squishy balls of yarn. They're just 100% wool. What other colours? I'm doing mine very similar to the original design. This nice mustard colour. Here's the red. Obviously the cream, and it's quite a bit more yellowy cream than it's showing up. And this is not as bright as it's showing up. And then this nice browny colour. There we go. That's going to be my Harvest Flower Sweater. Yeah, it's knitting up really nice. It's got a twisted rib for the neckband. I'm also imagining that the bottom of the body and the cuffs will probably be a twisted rib to match, but I can't say I've read the pattern that far ahead. Yeah, happy with that. And it actually makes it a nice firm neckband, like it's not going to stretch as much as if that was just a 1-in-1 rib. I haven't knit one of Jessie Maed's designs before, like I haven't had one of her patterns, but I am loving it. It is very well written pattern, and each row has a tick box, which makes me very happy because I do like to print the pattern and cross off the rows as I go. It's just how it works for me. But she actually has tick boxes next to the rows on the pattern, which was very pleasing, and so much detail and different variations of how you can make it work for you. Just very well written pattern. I'd highly recommend, yeah, knitting one of hers if you haven't. So then to Handmaiden, I guess. June's colourway was Alexandrite. There's actually a few birthstones for June, including pearl, which isn't exactly a stone, is it? And I couldn't even imagine how I would dye pearl. So Alexandrite was the obvious choice for me. It's a beautiful stone that, depending on how the light catches it, it lends green or quite purple. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So the fibre base that I used was a merino baby alpaca, so 70% merino, 30% alpaca, and again I've dyed it to shift through the three colours. If you spun it end to end, it would shift, like it would stripe. The yarn would look like it was going to stripe, kind of like spin cycle yarn. Yeah, very happy with that. There's this cute little marker. And then the Yarn Club was dyed up on my favourite sock base. So this yarn, this super fine, delicious merino with 25% nylon, so also hard wearing. And I've actually got a couple of these on the website because I did 2 different dye batches. Like I was having a bit of a play, and there's a couple of skeins that lean more foresty green, which is where I actually settled, and that's what's in the fibre. So yeah, it's much more foresty green, whereas this one is much more teal leaning, like that's quite a blue green. So yeah, if you aren't part of Yarn Club, there are a couple of these on the website if you go have a wee look, and they've also got their little stitch markers with them. Yeah. Apart from that, it's like, what is new? There's some stitch stoppers. There's these super cute stitch stoppers. I probably need to put them on my sweater that I am knitting right now. I think that's about all that is on the website because I haven't been here creating so much. Last month's podcast, I talked about getting more subscribers. We were trying to get to 300 subscribers, and thank you all so much for commenting, and I tried to reply to everyone's comments. It was awesome to chat to you all and all the well wishes for my trip and stuff like that. So I have picked 2 winners. Rita Rushman is the winner of the spinning package. So just in case you don't remember or you didn't see, here is the spinning package, a beautiful braid of merino that I've dyed with a diz, a pottery diz that Amelia of Not All New made. So this is coming out to you, Rita. I'll be in touch, and I will get your address and that off you. Thank you, Amelia. And then Not All New, Amelia's beautiful sock set and her buttons that she also made from pottery. These are going out to Susan Whitery, who commented and wanted the knit package. So these are coming your way, Susan. Again, I'll be in touch and get your address and details. So that's exciting that we reached our 300, and we've actually exceeded that now. So please keep sharing and liking, and yeah, send it to people that you think would also enjoy watching some nitty crafty stuff. So I think that's all from me. I'm looking ahead. I'm excited for Tour de Fleece coming up. If you don't already know, Tour de Fleece runs about the same time as Tour de France cycling, but people that are involved in Tour de Fleece spin on their spinning wheels while the cyclists are cycling, and runs from about the 4th of July to the 26th of July. And I have already picked out some beautiful braids that I'm looking forward to spinning. And yeah, Tour de Fleece is a good excuse to spin a little bit every day. So maybe I put more details about it down below, and maybe we need to have our own Tour de Fleece group going, and you can all spin Handmaiden Fibre Club braids and stuff like that. Let me know if you're keen. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's all from me, and thank you so much for following and watching and joining me and listening to me talk about yarn. Yeah. Catch you next month. See ya.